Welcome to Warhammer 40k lore in the Bible, where I pull from Warhammer 40k lore to help explain biblical lore. Today we're going to be going over the Realm of Chaos and what it is in the Bible and all that. But anyways, the way these work is I get into the Warhammer 40k lore first, then we get into the biblical side of things as well. Alright, so let's get this started. The Realm of Chaos is the name given to the portion of the Immaterium where the Chaos Gods and their demonic followers make their homes. By the way, take the wikis and the lexicons with a grain of salt, guys. Okay? Just getting that out there. If such a concept even has meaning within the formless, extra-dimensional space that is the Empyrean. Beyond the boundaries of physical space, unrestricted by time or casualty, there is a dimension incomprehensible to mortal minds. It lies on the other side of dreams and nightmares, infinite in scope but without form or structure. The Bible has something kind of like this, but anyways, I digress. Okay, this realm is composed of psychic energy of love and hate, fear and hope, ambition and despair, and yet it is uncaring, emotionless void. The realm of chaos exists far outside imagination, an impossible abstraction made real only by the metaphor and the roiling emotions of mortal minds. It is constantly reborn, but has never changed, eternally shifting though endless in potential. No mundane sense can see, smell, or hear it, and even the most powerful psychers cannot glean the warp's true nature, lest they be driven insane. This is kind of the same in the Bible, but anyways, it is a place where gods thrive in constant war, fighting over the raw stuff of creation that birthed them. In this unknowable realm, titanic hosts clash, locked together in a conflict that is as old as the universe and can never be truly won. Vast demonic armies rage and scream, each warrior formed only of the psychic energy of emotion, and each driven onwards by the whims of their dark creators. Sometimes this dread realm shatters its boundaries and spills into the territory of mortals in a so-called real space. Nightmares and terror are unleashed upon the worlds of humanity and aliens alike, as armies of the slavering fiends and cavorting warriors pour forth alongside regiments of blood-red soldiers and batteries of brazen, warped-forged war machines. While the skies burn with magical fire and rivers of blood drown ravaged cities, and the hosts of the dark gods end and maim all their path, feeding upon the souls of their victims, the realm of chaos has been made manifest, and there is no escape. Okay? Let's go to the dark gods. In the Immaterium, the psychic reflections of similar thoughts and emotions from sentient beings in real space gather together like rivulets of water running down a cliff face. They form streams and eddies of anguish and desire, pools of hatred and torrents of pride. Since the dawn of time, these tides of waves and psychic energy have flowed unceasingly through the mirror realm of the warp, and such is their power that they forced into being creatures made of the very stuff of dreams and nightmares. Eventually, these instinctual, formless entities gained a rudimentary self-consciousness of their own. The Chaos Gods were born, vast psychic presences composed of the fantasies and horrors of mortals. These are the ruinous powers, and each one is a reflection of the mortal passions that form them. First amongst them is Khorne, the blood god possessed of towering and immortal fury. Tzeentch, the bizarre and ever-changing architect of fate, weaves powerful sorceries to bind the future to his will, whilst great Nurgle, the Lord of Decay, labors endlessly to spread infection and pestilence. The last of their number is Slaanesh, the Dark Prince of Chaos, indulgent of every pleasure and excess, no matter how immoral or perverse. As the intelligent species of the Milky Way galaxy prospered and grew, so too did their hopes and dreams, their rage and wars, their love and hatred. These burgeoning flood of raw emotion fed the chaos gods and nurtured their power. Eventually, the gods reached back into and through the dreams of mortals, and eternally working to influence the physical realm and its myriad sentient species. Real quick, so we're going to get into the biblical side of these shadow people and stuff like that, and how every time you see it, it's fear. It's like it's feeding off of your fear. But anyways, we'll get into that. Okay. A chaos god can only grow in power through actions and thoughts of mortals. Those who worship a chaos god and behave in a way that feeds it are rewarded with strange mutational gifts, extraordinary powers, and potentially immortality as a demon prince. As the chaos gods battle in the warp, so their mortal followers wage war in the material universe. The victors of the battles earn more power for their unworldly master, though the twisted planes of the chaos gods are such that often victory is not necessary, merely the acts of sacrifice and battle themselves. When devotees of chaos end, their souls do not fade in the warp and disappear like the spirits of other mortals to some unknown and unknowable fate. Instead, their immortal psychic energy is swallowed into the greatness of their gods, their souls sustained forever, bound to the eternal power of chaos. Alright, the realm of the gods. Through the dreams and nightmares of mortals, the changing tides of the warp are molded into a fantastical landscape and populated with legendary beings. Timeless and ever-shifting, the psychic expanse is known as the Realm of Chaos, the Empyrean, the Warp, the Immaterium, or Warp Space, depending upon which facet of existence one is seeking to comprehend. It is the dimensional parallel to our own. The Bible's just like that, but anyways, I'm sorry. A universe devoid of consistency and unbound by the physical laws which govern space and time. It is random, unstructured panorama of pure psychic energy and unfocused consciousness. It is chaos in its truest sense, unfettered by the limits of physics and undirected by intelligent purpose and will. The warp is chaos. Chaos is the warp, and the two are indivisible. All right. And then it's got the formless waste, so the warp has no physical dimensions, and the realm of chaos is without limits or true geography. The areas of influence controlled by chaos gods form the realms, and the rest of this is roiling landscape is often referred to simply as the formless waste, the land of lost souls, or the chaos abyss. All right. So now let's get into the biblical side of things. But first, I kind of want to get into this. This is interesting. I'm sure you guys know this. The meme that Event Horizon was like the first thing on Warhammer 40k. But anyways, I just found it interesting. Hold on. Okay.
May actually be an unofficial prequel to the Warhammer 40k universe, because warp travel works exactly the same way in that universe. So in Warhammer, you would have to fly your ship out past the edge of your solar system to a safe point called a Mandeville point. And then when you engage your warp drive, it pulls you into a parallel dimension called the Immaterium or the Warp, which is basically a universe of pure psychic energy and emotion and chaos. And you can ride these currents through that dimension to get to where you want to go, because the points correspond to real space or our actual universe. And if you were to go into this world, it is a very hazardous, dangerous place. It's full of demons and monsters and things like this.
And the reason why I want to bring this up is because you'll see in one of these verses, it says they are in the terrors, right, of the shadow of death and all that. So, and there's something that pulls you through, like whatever, it's a doorway or whatever. And there's things that you could do that open, a doorway in and whatnot. But Anyways, I'll let him finish.
Sounds familiar.
Exactly. So if you were to go into this universe without the proper shielding, something called a Geller field, then your whole crew would get basically eviscerated by or possessed by demons, and then they would go crazy from just the sort of ethereal world that exists in the warp. And then they would kind of live out their nightmares and murder each other.
That's in the Warhammer game?
The Warhammer universe.
Whoa.
But yeah, and
Whoa.
that's like exactly what would happen if you
Wow.
didn't know what was on the other side of warp technology. You would presumably at some point pop back into reality with a ghost ship, which does happen apparently with some frequency in the Warhammer 40k universe.
Space
And
Hulk.
the writer of Event Horizon actually said as much, that he was influenced by the Warhammer 40k universe. So
Okay. So I just wanted to bring that up because, so check this out. So Matthew 8:12, but the children of the kingdom shall be cast out into outer darkness. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. This is kind of almost like that formless waste thing, right? So Matthew 22:13, then said the king to the servants, bind him hand and foot and take him away, cast him to outer darkness. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. So again, Matthew 25:30, and cast ye the unprofitable servant to outer darkness, there shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. So there is this outer darkness, right? Okay. Job 10:22, a land of dark, before I go whence, I shall not return, even to the land of darkness in the shadow of death. A land of darkness is darkness itself, and of the shadow of death, without any order, where the light is as darkness. So, you can see, you can go into this land of darkness, right? He says, before I go whence, I shall not return, even to the land of darkness and of the shadow of death. Sounds a whole lot like chaos. Well, in First Enoch, now is it like exactly like psychic energy? I can't tell you, right? But it is interesting. This actually calls it chaos, right here. So First Enoch, chapter 20, starting in verse 5, I should say. So this is talking about the 7 archangels here, right? Michael, one of the holy angels, to wit, he is set over the best part of mankind, over the house of Israel, right? The people of God is really what that means. And over chaos. So he's protecting and keeping chaos out, right? And you're going to see here that Daniel is actually the restrainer, not the Holy Spirit, okay? The Holy Spirit comforts and gives wisdom, right? He does not restrain. Michael does. Daniel 12:1, and at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince which standeth for the children of thy people. So there you go. And there shall be a time of trouble, as such never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, everyone that should be found written in the book. So, when Michael stands up, he lets it all just come through. And it says, and there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation. So he's standing up, and chaos is being unleashed. And it's funny, it calls it chaos, which are these entities. We're going to see here. Okay. Job 24:17. For the morning is to them even as the shadow of death. If one know them, they are in the terrors of the shadow of death. Okay. Now I want to get into these shadow people. Okay. So, shadow people reported worldwide. And since the beginning of recorded history, shadow people seem to be living shadows. Now, why am I bringing this up? Because we're going to see people who have been corrupted with this darkness. Okay? Let me see here. Let me bring this up first. Genesis 1:2. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And we know the deep is this character here, right? the goddess of death, right? So we saw the deep being corrupted by this darkness. Now we're going to see Satan being corrupted of this darkness, or this darkness overtaking him. Now, this is from the book of Adam and Eve. It is not canon, so don't look at it as such, But it is interesting though, and I would say this book does agree a lot with Scripture, right? It even talks about the Word, which is Jesus, right, and the Word being God. But I digress. O Adam, as long as the good angel was obedient to me, a bright light rested on him and on his hosts. See, I believe this is Satan, okay? But when he transgressed my commandment, I deprived him of that bright nature, and he became dark. And when he was in the heavens, in the realms of light, he knew nothing of darkness. So there's a realm of light where God is at, and then there's a realm of darkness. Very interesting. But he transgressed, and I made him fall from heaven into the earth. And it was this darkness that overcame him, so it can corrupt him, right? And I want to bring this up. Where is it? Right. Psalms 44:19. Though thou hast sore broken us in the place of dragons, and covered us with the shadow of death. Okay. So, okay. Anyways, sorry. But yeah, covered with the shadow of death. And we see that with the deep and with that Satan. Now we have these shadow people, right? Shadow people reported worldwide, and since the beginning of recorded history, shadow people seem to be living, shadows. They are usually seen out of the corner of people's eyes. Some people see semi-transparent dark splotches. They vanish as soon as a person realizes what they saw. When people see shadow people, a feeling of despair and fear overcomes them. I believe they kind of feed off of this, right? There have been some reports of people being attacked and chased by these shadows. Well, why is that? Let's go to 1 Enoch chapter 15. Now, this is talking about Genesis 6, where the sons of God came down, made with women, created giants, right? They were the men of old, men of renown, right? And now the giants who were produced from the spirits and flesh. And it wasn't just giants, by the way. It was all different kinds of weird things, which is why you see weird demons, right? Okay. Produced from the spirits of flesh shall be called evil spirits upon the earth, and on the earth shall be their dwelling. Evil spirits have proceeded from their bodies, because they are born from men and from the holy watchers, which is the class of angel that sinned. There's good watchers, by the way, I do believe, because we do see one in Daniel. But anyways, holy watchers is their beginning and primal origin. They shall be evil spirits on the earth, and evil spirits so shall they be called. As for the spirits of heaven, in heaven shall be their dwelling, but as the spirits of earth, which were born upon the earth, on the earth shall be their dwelling. And the spirits of the giants afflict, oppress, destroy, attack, do battle, work destruction on the earth, and cause trouble. They take no food, but nevertheless thirst, and cause offenses. And these spirits shall rise up against the children of men and against women, because they have proceeded from it. What does it say here? There have been some reports of people being attacked or chased by these shadows. Now, is it this corruption, right? Right here, Jonah 2:6. I went down to the bottoms of the mountains. The earth with her bars was about me forever. This earth and her bars, these are portals, okay? And the bar is like a shutting of a gate, right? You put that metal bar in the middle of it, and it shuts it, keeps things from coming out, basically. That's basically what it's talking about here. It's keeping something from coming up to the earth or wherever it is, right? This dark dimension. It's keeping the dark dimension at bay. So, right here. And yet hast thou brought up my life from corruption. Very interesting. Oh, Lord my God. So there is this corruption, this darkness that's, overcoming these entities, right? That's why they can't become like these shadow people and whatnot. And it's very interesting that you have this world of darkness, right? And it's kind of like the upside down, like in Stranger Things, right? Got this dark undertone where it has a connection to reality, but it's its own little realm, right? And I think that's what's going on here. You got the realm of light, you got our reality, and then you got the realm of darkness. And this is why you get the as above, so below stuff, right? From occultists and whatnot. But anyways, now let's get to, I'm not going to read all these. I'm just going to give them to you. So these are the 10 different locations of hell explained. Sheol. Sheol is the Hebrew word for the current hell. The meaning of the word, Strong's Concordance, is the realm of death, where the deep is at, right? This is the location where people exist now who never put their trust in Jesus Christ for their salvation. Let me bring this up real quick. So this is Niflheim, the cold, dark, misty world of the dead, ruled by the goddess Hel. By the way, hell in English is where we get the word hell. I don't know if I said that right, but this is where we get the word hell. In some accounts, was the last of the 9 worlds. Now, check that out. Last of the 9 worlds. A place into which evil men passed after reaching a region of death. Or hell, situated below one of the roots of the world tree Yggdrasil. Niflheim contained a well, Verglimmer, from which many rivers flowed. Oh yeah, let's go back to that. The waters made him great, the deep set him up on high with her rivers running about his plants. Very interesting. All right. So there's like these different parts of hell, this world of darkness, right? Okay. Hades. Hades in the Greek word is the current hell and synonymous with Sheol. Its meaning in Strong's Concordance is the place of the dead, the underworld. Okay. The pit. In the Old Testament, there are 13 different Hebrew words translated as pit. 5 of these are used to represent the current hell: Sheol, Baur, Sukkot, Beer, and Beer is what it says. Not beer, but it's spelt like that. Anyways, Mahamorath. Each word reflects a different aspect of hell, such as the place of departed spirits, the slime pit, dungeon, well, shaft, miry pit, corruption, and decay. The word pit is, anyways. Gehenna. Gehenna is the Greek word derived from the Hebrew phrase Valley of Hinnom. Jesus used this word 11 times to describe hell. This refers to the future hell, the lake of fire where people will go after the judgment. So Gehenna is where Israel burnt the trash, basically. That's what he was referencing. So that's what the lake of fire is. Lake of fire. Tophet. Tophet is a specific location within the Valley of Hinnom. Okay, check this out real quick. Where is it? Right, okay. Psalms 23:4. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. See, the Bible talks about this shadow of death in this land of darkness a lot, doesn't it? I mean, we see here, where is it? Thou hast so broken us in the place of dragons and covered us with the shadow of death. But it's also connected to this land of darkness, right? Let me find it. Where is it? Oh, right here. Duh. Job 10:22. A land of darkness is darkness itself, and of the shadow of death, without any order, and where the light is as darkness. Its own realm, right? But anyways, guys, I'm going to wind it down now. I want to thank everybody who liked the video. If you disliked the video, thank you for at least giving me a chance. You guys have a wonderful day or night.